Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer podcast today. So, Delphi murder discussion. I haven't done a Delphi in a minute. Yeah. Before we do, please like, share, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for Cash App. My handle is Charlie Greer Podcast. Let's do this. So, I haven't done a Delphi. I'm parroting right now. I haven't done a Delphi murder discussion in a while. It's got to be, I don't even know. I'm fascinated with this case. I'm not a true crime podcaster. I'm not a Delphi aficionado. If you do want to get some real information, I suggest going to like Sleuth Intuition, Outside of the Grid, Ruckus Rocks, Unresolved Crime. There's some people out there that do like really good work. I'm just and I parrot what I hear. I can't solve simple things in my own life. So perhaps you might want to go and check out the guys that really do. So the Delphi, fascinated by it. Pray for Abby and Libby, their families, law enforcement, the prosecutor, everything. Spread the love. I found out about the Delphi when they did the Anthony Shots YouTube, when they asked for information about Anthony Shots. And that was and I don't know. So I'm late to the game as far as like, because there's people that have been, and like Outside of the Grid, I learned I was a fan of theirs. And then when I started doing my podcast, I used to do my podcast every day. I don't do it as much. And I was a fan of theirs. Then he became a fan of mine. And that's why I did an interview. I've only done one interview. And with Outside of the Grid. So give them some love. Ruckus, he's ex-law enforcement. He's really good. Sleuth Intuition, he does really great work. Frank from Unresolved Crime, all those guys, they're the Hefes, if you will. I can't keep up. I'm busy. So and when I do, I'll play a Delphi. Like when I go to bed at night, I'll click on a YouTube video just to listen for it. So I don't listen to all of it. The last thing I did watch, though, this past week was the Hannah Shakespeare documentary, which, God, was it Fig Sauls? Thank you, Fig Sauls. Great work. Hannah Shakespeare, awesome. I recommend checking her out, or him, or whoever. Pardon me. So, Hannah, great work. I mean, she kind of put the screws in on top. And then so I did that. And then a while back, I watched a city council meeting where the prosecutor was like begging for $5,000. Like the case, is on a balance. If we don't get this $5,000, that was strange to me for him to be begging for. Excuse me, I've got some kind of I have allergies and I got some kind of cold, whatever. But I thought that was strange, to the point where it's almost like a tell. Like, why is he begging for $5,000? So they could hire someone. They said it was an expert. It turns out they weren't an expert. And they're like, well, we need somebody to file 1 million file. I get it, But that almost seems like, I think there's other people involved in this crime. I think something else is going on. I don't know what it is. Crime is weird. Crime is strange. People are sheep dipped. People will, they're not going to tell you what they're doing. Meaning people say the positions of power. See, it's like a pyramid, and people in power, if there is corruption, and corruption could be cronyism, nepotism, favoritism. It ain't like people out there doing murders. I'm just saying that, cronyism, favoritism, nepotism, that's a thing, especially in a small town. It seems to me that, and you test people. See, when you got people, and they might not even know, again, people are told what to do. That seems to me like something like test his loyalty. See if he'll go beg for $5,000. See if he's on, because I think, what's it, Nicholas McClellan, I think his name is. I think he realizes something is up too. Tina, hello. I think Nick, no, there's something going on. I don't know what it is. It could just be small town politics. It could be, again, cronyism, nepotism. Well, my boy, I'm the mayor and the sheriff, and we played football together. It's a small town. The lineage of, people know each other. But why would they do that? Why would the balance of the case hang on if they need an extra $5,000? That's strange to me. There is some strange, that's why I'm fascinated with this case. Strange and unusual stuff going on. The presser back in 2019 where he might be in the room, dun, dun, dun. Like, who would do that? That's so wrong at so many levels, like the emotional dump on the families. What do they know? And then they release the one extra word and a sketch that looks nothing like the other one. Didn't they say that the first sketch that they've been passed around for years, didn't they say that was actually Mike Patty? I'm not looking at the family, but when people were looking at, maybe they thought, because I don't like people that go after the family. But the process of elimination, you have to do that. That's what law enforcement have to do, right? So I'm not saying they're involved. I thought that one of these other cops said it was Annie who's it. And who is this young dude, this mysterious guy? That sketch that they released in 2019. And then Richard Allen don't look like some young dude with the curly hair and this and that. No. Does he look like Bridge Guy? Is Bridge Guy even a thing? We know now that they were catfishing, and these people were, they're sophisticated with their phones and this, that, and the other. Was that planted evident? Again, speculation, assumption, humble opinion. I'm doing my own process of elimination, And the reason I wanted to do this Delphi discussion today was maybe people come on and tell me, school me, like, hey, because I go directly to corruption. I mean, I people that have followed me. I lived in LA for 24 years. I've been around, I used to be a wild man. There, it's all, to me, that's the first thing that I go to. That's the first thing that people are told what to do. They don't explain shit to you. I've said this story before. You can read it too. The point I'm trying to make is, go read Keith Richards' book, Life. Keith Richards, he was the guitarist of Rolling Stone. And I'm sorry if you guys have heard this before. I've said this before in a previous podcast or two. He tells a story that back in the early 60s when the Rolling Stones were starting to get popular, they're starting to make money. He's signing with these big agencies and management and record labels and this, that, and the other thing. And he starts to make a little bit of money. He's young. He's in like his early 20s, maybe teens, late teens. And he's like, hey, I make some money. I want to buy a car. Like, oh, you want to buy a sports car, huh? Well, tomorrow meet us. He meets them. He's like, yeah, I like this. That's the sport car I want. Like, oh, you want to test drive? Okay. Tomorrow meet us. We'll bring the sports car. They do the next day or whatever. He gets in it. They're driving around. They're like, yeah, pull over. We got to go do some paperwork for the car to get it. Go in there to do whatever, come back, running back out. They'd rob like a diamond store or a bank or something. He's next thing you know, he's a getaway driver. Now he's a rock star at the time. He's like, what the hell? They're like, you better get. So he, what I mean? They don't tell you. Now he's got to keep his mouth shut. It's that kind of thing that my mind goes to. Read Life. Read Keith Richards' book. It's in his book. I have dealt with stuff in the entertainment industry, but you don't want to know. So it's like, I know we all think it's like rainbows and fucking lollipops. It's not. So is some of that going on with the Delphi? Is there things that are further down the trough that maybe these people didn't do the murder, but it's connected? It's all like a spot. Like they'll cover up for a CI, a confidential informant. Is that what it is? They just don't want them to lead back, or they had secret things in their life. That's what I tend to immediately go to. We all have secrets. Shit, no one's exempt from that. Isn't Keegan Kline about to be sentenced? Isn't that coming up in like a week or two? Is he a CI? Was he involved or not? Again, assumption, humble opinion, speculation. Perhaps he was. I don't know. I think they are. Tomorrow's his sentencing. KK in court tomorrow. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Digital. Tomorrow. Will they have that on camera? Will he be? No, probably not. Wonder what he's going to get. And then they drop some charges or something. Who knows? Again, I need people to tell me, because I think I think they're all CIs. I might be wrong, but I think KK, TK, the cousin, the best friend, them all. When he arrested for stuff, and then they drove him home, and I'm talking about KK. Well, that's what you do if you were. Was he a snitch? Was he? Pardon me. It seems like there's a bigger sting operation going on in this case. Do you think there others are involved? Is it just Richard Allen? Was he part of that catfishing? Was it just a crime of opportunity? I don't know. I know a while back, again, I watched videos. I'm not doing my own research or anything. Didn't they say that like the night they were missing, they mapped out, like gridded out the search, and that area where the girls were found was already searched? Didn't they say there was like 1,000 people out there with flashlights and they didn't see anything? Were they covered up? Was it? I don't know. They said that it was staged. I know that police have to keep stuff close to their chest. They can't come out and say, "Well, dang," and tell everything, And Robert Ives, the previous prosecutor, didn't he think this would be solved like in 72 hours from old school evidence? Not like they didn't grid until the 14th. Okay, Digital. Thank you, Digital. So I'm wrong. Anyway, so Robert Ives said like old school evidence, and he didn't really say much, but old school evidence, he said like in the 60s. So that would mean like what? Tire tracks, fingerprints. They didn't have DNA back then. He was alluding to they had a lot of evidence, and then why wasn't it solved? He seemed frustrated. He seemed like he wanted to say something. He didn't. Then he resigned. Makes you think. Those small towns, what is it, 3,000 people? They know everybody. I grew up in a town. I'm from a small town. Well, you can't come on. The cops know everybody. They know. I think a lot of people might know more, but it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And then people are assuming. Can you imagine how many tips were, what so-and-so, he's a son of a bitch, all that. You have to go through all that. Isn't the timeline off a little bit too? They're dropped off this time. No, it's different. It's here. It's there. And weren't there other people? Not a lot, but there was probably a dozen or 2 dozen out on the trail that day when this happened. And Hannah said that Hannah Shakespeare, when I watched that documentary, she said that when she was on the bridge, she could look. It was around the same time of year where the leaves are off the trees. She could look and see on the bridge down and see where the girls were found. Don't you think that's strange? They did say that there was an arguing couple. Did they find out who they were? Again, I ask questions. I don't know. Digital says a murder happens in a 2-hour window and not a single person was on video somewhere else to be cleared. Yeah, I don't know. So the murder happened in a 2-hour window. Wasn't it like between 1:30 and 3:30 or something like that? Did they stumble up on something? Digital says yes. Maybe they did. Did they? It almost seems like a reactionary crime where they just maybe stumbled up on something and somebody freaked out. I don't know. What do you guys think, Tina? Digital. I mean, who? My mind goes directly to some street shit, but I could be, wrong. There's a lot of creepy people. We know there's creepy people. KK, Richard Allen, and then nobody knew about him. And there's people from all over the world have podcasts about this subject, and not a one of them knew about Richard Allen. Didn't he turn himself in? Like, hey, I was there. I was just like the guy. I was on the bridge. That tells me he is bridge guy. But I don't know. Bridge guy looks so. I mean, they've had two different versions of the video where he was short and stumpy, and then he's taller. He looks more like Richard Allen when it's the short, stumpy one. The muddy, bloody guy, is that a thing? Is it? Again, that's why I'm fascinated with this case. It's this is so much. It's like a Rubik's cube. You gotta. But I know they're still wanting, tips. Does that say there's other people involved? Do they know and they just need more evidence before they can? Is there inadmissible evidence? I think what they have on Richard Allen, they found a bullet at the crime scene that matched his gun, a gun that they found at his house when they did a search. And were they digging around his backyard? Again, when they were in the creek or the river, whatever it was, and they were, for like a couple weeks, they were in that river. It seemed like after that was shut down, they did that when all this started happening. Did they find something? In the probable cause affidavit, do you have to put everything that you got? Have they given everything to the defense? Now, this might go public, but they have more evidence. And I'm just asking questions. Has McClellan ever prosecuted a case, a murder case? I don't know. He better hope and pray he did. Because he's never, Digital says he's never. Didn't Richard Allen get like a good attorney? Didn't he end up getting a couple two? I forgot what I think I was watching. I forgot what podcast I was watching, but didn't they say like the attorney that he got has dealt with the same kind of evidence where they found a bullet and it matched the guy's gun, and then this attorney got it thrown out? Is Richard Allen a dangler? Is he a fall guy? I have a feeling that he was involved, but he wasn't. He's the only death penalty qualified lawyer in the region. That's what Digital says. Tina says, yes, Baldwin is one of the best in Indiana. I only live 30 minutes from Baldwin. Wow. He's one of the best. Hey, good. I mean, for Richard Allen. What do you guys think about Richard Allen? Tina, Digital, do you think he's a bridge guy? Do you think he acted alone? Do you think he had other folios that, these creepy dudes that would go out young girls? I mean, come on. Digital says, oops, I was thinking about Kohlberger. Yeah, Tina said, well, he put himself on the bridge. Yeah, he basically said, I am the bridge. Hey, it's me. Look at me. I mean, I don't know. Didn't he say he was dressed that? I hate to laugh, but But maybe Tina says, but maybe he was just a guy on a bridge. Perhaps he was. My gut feeling is there's others involved. And when you know about crime, say if you are, was there a ring or something going on? I'm just speculating. It's a speculation, humble opinion, right? Assumption. Well, that's what you do. You put layers in between you and the crime. Kind of like the Keith Richards. Hey, Kanye, test drive this car. He's the getaway. Now he's got to keep his fucking mouth shut. Wouldn't you bring a guy setting people up? Fall guy, it's a thing. Humble opinion. I'm just speculating. I don't know. I'm not saying it did. Digital, a couple of days ago, Ashley Banford said Rick Allen may be the bridge guy, but he is the. Is he the bridge guy? I don't know. Is bridge guy even a? Was that planned? Again, you got to go through a process of elimination. That's what we're doing here. Just kind of eliminating possibilities. And who's this younger sketch dude? You know, when they released in the 2019 presser. I had a year ago, I said this on one of my podcasts about the Delphi, is when they released that first word, it's the same guy, but recorded at different times. That's the theory I had. Like when he goes, guys, that sounds like a question mark. He doesn't have that confidence. Like he's in a interrogation room or he's being questioned about something like, guys, I didn't have anything to do with this. Maybe we played football together or something like that. But down the hill, he's in creep mode. Same dude. And also, the guys has a different headroom. See, I'm a musician. I come from that background. So it seems like it was recorded. Guys sound like it's in a closed environment. Down the hill, you can hear like crunching and this, that, and the other. And the headspace seems different. You guys might not be able to wrap your head around that, but I have an ear for. So did they put those two together to send a signal to someone? Like, dude, we know. He would know. People think, oh, cops don't do that. They do. Again, I could be wrong. So again, I think the guys sounds like a question mark. Down the hill, exclamation point. You're in creep mode. You're ready to. That was recorded like during the crime. The guys wasn't. Digital says, young guy, who knows? But the law enforcement did do a press release that said older sketch guy has been identified and spoken to. Really? I think I heard that too. Strange. There's so many elements to this case that are just like, what the? You wouldn't believe it if it was a movie, Do you guys think the guys down the hill was recorded at the same time? Could it be different? I mean, is it the same guy? Is it one guy recorded at the same time? Or is it the same guy? The guys was recorded at a different time and they added it to down the hill? Or is it two guys? I don't know. And why won't they release the rest of the video? Don't they have like 47 seconds? I don't know, man. It's weird. And everything's covered up. And watching the Tina said, I've heard that before, Charlie, about the recording thing. I don't know myself. Yeah, we don't know. We're just speculating. But when I watched that Hannah Shakespeare documentary, again, thank you, Fig Solves, that I don't know. She seems like she wants to say something. Did she go to Delphi and talk to other? Like, you can't put them on camera. That's another thing. You go and you talk, then you talk to locals. I don't know how long she stayed there, but Labyrinth game. Digital says Labyrinth came from the 80s. You get to roll the middle ball past 3 holes to get to the end. This case, kinda. Yeah. Andy Pam. How you doing, Andy Pam? Hey, Charlie. I think it's two different people on the audio myself. Could be. Perhaps. You know, could be. The guys and then down the hill sounds so different. Sounds like whoever it is in a different headspace, mindset. Again, the guys sounds like a question mark. Like he doesn't have the confidence of down the hill. Down the hill, man. He's centered. He's certain. He's guys almost sounds like he's not shocked, but like insecures. I don't know. But reading people's voices and their cadence and their inflection is as old as time. People had to learn if you're doing not only crime but government or pharaohs had to know that. I mean, it's old school. Before there was cameras, you had to know when people were lying to you. How do you do that? Their voice, their eyes, there's tells that people do in your own voice. We're all guilty of it, man. Indy Pam, did Banfield elaborate on that? I've always thought BG was DK. Really? I know who DK is. Maybe you meant GK. Digital says, I think the voice was messed with so much that unless you were extremely familiar with someone, you probably couldn't identify them. Yeah, because they had to clean it up. And when you're messing with like the audio, it's so easy that you can make someone sound like Mickey Mouse, Yeah, Garrett Kurtz. Didn't he just get arrested for the Ray Hanish murder? So I think there's things involved in this, people that are involved in it. See, the Ray Hanish murder, somehow it isn't tied with the murder, but I think that there's tentacles. That's another thing. Like, it's such a small town that maybe that didn't have anything to do with the murder, but somehow the goings on with the murder leads to other crimes. You know what I mean? I can't say much, but I think that he got charged with it. Already in prison with another. Yeah, he's in prison for killing his like girlfriend or some side piece or something. But was he sleeping with Ray Hanish? I mean, people on the down low. Bisexual. I mean, I might as well say, hey, I don't care. It's not like I'm pointing the finger, but people will do, again, people have secrets. They will cover up things. Were they swingers? Were they I don't know. I'm sure he was, Tina said. I'm sure the cops know all this. Did he know something, Ray Hanish? When they're partying or something, did someone slip up and... Andy Pam says he tried to say he killed him accidentally during sex. Man, that's dark. But yeah, I heard that too. See, people have their sexuality. They'll do some strange, crazy stuff. They'll lie, cheat, and steal, murder. Who knows? Accidentally murder. I don't know. People lie about, or don't even lie. They just don't tell like their significant other that they're on the side. Who, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking about. Is there things that are like that? It has nothing to do with people who did the murder. It's just that they know each other from these secret lives they have. Could that be? Perhaps, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Speculation. Um, will GK, will he be brought in as a, and I saw an interview, this is a while back, maybe a year ago. I saw someone interviewed him in prison while he was like on a prison phone. And they had video. I don't even know how that would, and he was acting like he knew something, didn't want to talk. Digital says GK is still at the top of my list, but my list got so long, no way to know for sure. You need a spreadsheet, Digital, to keep up, an Excel program to keep up with everything going on here. You know, you'd need an assistant to, and all the initials and this, that, and the other, and the Reddit and the shit. It'd drive me crazy. Fascinating. That's why I'm kind of like, fascinated by this case. I think that the locals know more. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. I think well, of course the cops know more. I think there's a little bit of small town politics going on too. People's egos. And that's what Hannah Shakespeare was saying. That's every little town. Forget about Delphi. That's just human behavior, psychology. People are, don't you tell me, kind of thing. And then it mucks up the whole. Tobe said in an interview I watched way back in the, that you'd be shocked. People will be shocked when they find out who it is. What does he mean by that? Will they be shocked about, what was it? Richard Allen worked at the CVS. Maybe that is what he was talking about. I don't know. But did they even know about Richard Allen then? Again, I speculated, a year ago when I was doing my podcast every day that this wouldn't make it to trial. I guess it is going to be making a trial. So I was wrong about that. I said they're going to do a fall guy, or that way they could, or it wouldn't, and then they could just, seal it all. Digital says, I think half the locals are scared to death and the other half are involved, connected, or know someone who knows something. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I can't say much, but I've had a warrant served, and I've had people plant shit way back in the day. We're talking like a long time ago. And then, I don't want to say much, but charges were dropped and we had to pay a fine or some kind of shit. And how I know it was they planted it in a guitar amp of mine. I don't know what the fuck's in my guitar amps. Shit, I store like chords back there. Here it is. What the fuck? And it was drugs they planted. So that's where my mind, again, I go back to, I don't trust any of this shit. I've seen so much corruption going on. Again, I lived in LA for 24 years. I wish I could see, when I was doing my podcast, I thought that I could, get it to the point where I could have my own server so I wouldn't have to censor myself and tell things that, well, I'll be banned on YouTube. And YouTube doesn't like me anyways, because I'm old, I smoke, I curse, I drink on, they shave all, again, I've said this before. Pardon me. I got doxxed or trolled or whatever you want to call it. They hacked my phone and my computer. That's why I quit doing it every day. So when like May of 2022, I started doing my podcast. I did it every day for 300 days. And I don't know what I was saying. Like I was censoring myself and I don't know why they'd come after me. And then I found out it's just an algorithm or an AI. It's just how they said it. It's not some person sitting there. Know any Photoshop experts? I used to have roommates that were like graphic artist. I used to know. I was a photo editor. I used to do a lot of photos every day. I worked on Photoshop. Yeah. I mean, is there planet evidence? Is there inadmissible evidence? Meaning like, I don't know. In every case, you got to think about stuff like this, especially a small town case like this. It also seems strange to me that wasn't like in 24, the FBI was already there and they're like, well, dang, we were just down the street. So here we are. It just seems weird that the next day they had every kind of crime van and around those woods. Were they investigating something else? And then this came about. I don't know. I think more about this is my personal opinion. Humble opinion. Speculation, assumption. I think there were more people involved. I think there were about, I hate to say it, but 4 to 7. I don't think, again, I don't think they were murdered where they were found in that area, but not there. They might have stumbled up on something. And then you throw Ron Logan in the equation, like, what, huh? See what? Digital, the huge thing right now is the photo of Abby on the bridge. Take a look at it and see if you think it's Photoshopped. Some people swear that it is. Some people don't. It looks kind of strange, doesn't it? It looks like it was taken later in the day. I don't know. Maybe that day was overcast. Who knows? But somebody was saying that like she's wearing the same clothes as she was wearing a day or two. Again, kids, they're young. They'll wear the same. I used to do the same thing. You wear the same clothes, you know. Were there other pictures that they're holding back? I don't know. Why aren't they releasing the 47 seconds of video they got or whatever it is? But Photoshop is kind of like lowbrow consider, and they're like Illustrator. There's like different programs that are better than Photoshop. It just seems to me that, like, again, this is the thing. It could be the kind of camera that you have. It could have been not have been because one that where a girl after the murders was on the bridge and taking pictures, and maybe she had a better camera. Also, when it was uploaded to some site, maybe that degrades the. I don't, you have to take all this into consideration. That it's a shit show. Let's just say that it's just shit. It's frustrating. Snapchat. Wasn't this called the Snapchat killings or murders in the beginning? Again, you need an Excel program to keep up with this. And it keeps changing, shifting gears. What gear are they in now, man? I mean, shit. It seemed like they were in reverse for a while. They kind of said that they were. I don't know, man. Running the streets in LA. I was an artist, creative guy. just out of, and I've said this before, just out of financial reasons, because LA started getting more expensive, I had to move into different areas, bad areas to afford apartments and houses or whatever. Just to get to my car and back and forth to work, I had to change as a person. I had to get more streetwise and, take a few beatings to, robbed and this, that, and the other, to read people. It's all about your eyes. See, you're a mark. If you look at somebody and you got the, it's a subtle thing. The normies, right now I'm a normie. I moved from LA over a year ago. But it's frustrating that people don't understand life, real life. Like you fuck around, you'll find out kind of thing. You bought the ticket, you take the ride. There's some strange stuff out there. Richard Allen has applied for a temporary protection order, Digital says. Really? Wasn't he like protected? Isn't he in protective custody? Temporary protection from who? Himself, maybe? I don't know. I did see a picture of him. They're saying that he's not acting right. He's not. Well, he didn't look too good. No, he's hating life right now. Yes, and who knows? Well, they're coming after him. Anybody in jail, there's some mean killers that'll kill. If you kill a kid and you're in jail, forget about it, man. Even in protective custody, people will go into protective custody just to mop up a dude. It's weird. Crime is strange. That actor Danny Trejo, he was on death row. He was the guy with the chest tattoo. People say he's cartel. I don't know. He's got tacos restaurants all over LA, and I think he was put on death row because he started a riot and he killed a guard. And how do you get out off death row and become like famous? It's and he's older than a shithouse rat, man. It's not what you think. It's sad how life is. It almost seems like there's a bigger sting operation going on in that area. That area right now, I know that they're investigating a bunch of stuff. Forget about Delphi. The cartels have moved in there. Meth, this, that, and the other thing. There's some creepers around there. Right behind that bridge, there's rich people that live in those houses are huge. I feel like Richard Allen is involved. I don't know how. I mean, I kind of, in my gut, know, but I don't want to say, I think he's second or third fiddle, if you can get that. I think that they needed somebody to dangle. Fuck this piece of shit. Throw a bullet now, Is he singing like a bird? You think he would be if there are other people involved, unless he's scared. Like Digital said, he needs a fucking protective order. There's some strange stuff going on, CP and all this other in that area. And didn't they say the Anthony Shots account popped off one of the biggest investigations in the history of the state? That's why I'm leaning towards there's something that's like They're not going to tell us, you know? Uh, I think there is. Again, my humble opinion, man. I don't know. I can't. There's certain small things in my own life I can't solve. I'm not trying to say that. No. I just my gut feeling and being around, quite honestly, criminals that were successful. I'm technically still in the Screen Actors Guild. I wasn't, I did this. I was in the acting. I wanted to be a creative person. Moved to LA, got in the Screen Actors Guild, the SAG, the union, and a lot of times you just kind of talking with people, like more successful people, and I can't name his name, but you would know who it is, a successful actor, and he schooled me. This was back in the day, like '98. He was like, dude, I thought these uh, producers are major drug dealers. They have production houses in LA. They finance. That's how they wash their money. Is through Hollywood. They're out of Quebec, Montreal, and they, he even told me they back in the '80s or so. He robbed one of these guys, and he had to hide for shit. They had a safe house, like some kind of condo in Montreal, and anywho's it. So I mean, they're it's not what you think. And you're thinking, well, how does this apply to the Delphi? Well, even a smaller, there are different things going on. People, even on the take, like, hey, you want to make some extra money, or people are told what to do. They're put in position of power. You don't tell them that they're in a position. You don't tell them. That's what I mean. You groom motherfuckers and their families and their father. It's a generational, it's a lineage thing. They're not going to tell you. You know, they come with smiling faces, and then they all are told what to do. I'm not saying again they in this case, but it could be. You know, um, I wish I could say more about stuff I know in my own experience about Jet, but you would think I was crazy. Who knows? So, Charlie? Remember when you, me, Kid, Check the Eye, Brad, talked one night on Discord? You talked about Jared Leto. You and Kid ruined him for Jared Leto. Yeah, Jared Leto. So the biggest Hollywood studio is not Paramount and Warner Brothers and Sony and this, that, and the other thing. It was on top of Mount. It's not. Anyway, it was a CIA studio, the biggest like in the world. Jared Leto bought that years back. How did he have the money? I never met Jared Leto. I've got some. He ain't told what to do. They're straw men. They just, you build people up to, shit. They're not, you need a narcissist. You need someone like, yeah, I'm the best in the world, and then you just can control them. It's not Lookout Mountain. It's near Laurel Canyon. So go down Sunset. Laurel Canyon is like this hippie kind of, back in the '60s. That's where a lot of the band, Neil Young and this and that. It's right off Hollywood. It's in the mountains. See, LA's in all the mountains. It's not. It's Laurel Canyon, which is kind of still this day a hippie bohemian. It's not Laurel Canyon. It's the Lookout Mountain. Or you go up there, and it used to be a secret. No, I didn't know it existed. I guess a lot of people didn't. It's a huge studio. Well, now they said Jared Leto bought it for his house. He lives in a house that's bigger than Paramount. I've been on Paramount, Warner Brothers lot, which is in the Valley, Burbank. That's my favorite studio I've ever. It was awesome to be. Like inside Paramount, all these studios, it's like a little town in there. Inside Paramount, Warner, they have this town square that they've built. It looks like a fucking town square. Like in Back to the Future, where they have, the clock and all that. That's that little town square. They'll just change it up to look different. I forgot I was working on this is back in the 90s. And afterwards, it's called the martini shot. When you're done with like working on a film, they're like, hey, okay. They bought us like hamburgers and pizza and beer. We were having beers. And we sat there and like Chris Farley, I saw him fucking take a cheeseburger and put a piece of pizza and then another cheeseburger. Say this like double cheeseburger pizza thing, and it was a military base. Yeah, Tina. That's what I'm saying. It was a CIA studio where God knows what they did. That's what I mean. They had the best of the best technology. I mean, it's just strange. Hollywood is a psyop. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's to ruin and confuse people. Pardon me. I didn't know. I'd have been a plumber if I. Quite honestly, I went out there to do creative stuff, and I turned into something I didn't want to have to, but it's to survive, just to, I had a lot of fun, but it's heartbreaking to realize, like, oh man, what I could have been known. I could have been, but what they want you to do, and I've said this before, you become an LLC, a limited liability corporation, your name, your image, you don't own it. You're told what to do. Yeah, you can live in a mansion and this, that. No. You become an earner. It's kind of like being in the mob. Like, hey, man, you better make this money. Like, when you watch Donnie Brasco, that mob film with like Johnny Depp, and they want to be in the mob, and then once they get made, you become an earner. So like weekly, they had to come up with like 20 grand, and everything over that they keep themselves. And when they don't come up, they're out there stealing friggin' parking meters to try to make that the money. That's how it is. You are a cash register. A lot of things in life, that's what happens. You get to the certain, you have to earn. It's not who you know. Well, actually, it's who you know and how much money you make them. That's how you succeed. Okay. Or who you know and how much you can do for them. That's what it is. That's the game. Sucks. I would never sleep with anybody to get ahead. Women, men, whatever. It sucks, man. But I mean, I had morals. I couldn't do it. I would have been better off. I just couldn't do it. I'm a small town kid. I'm gullible. I'm naive. I thought I'd get back by with my talent, my gumption. No. I wouldn't do the rub or whatever they call it. Tina, but you had amazing adventures than most of us. Yeah, but I'm kind of paying for it now. As far as like, well, people move on. They buy houses and have family. I didn't want. I mean, I wanted to experience things. I didn't want to buy a house and worry about the yard and shit, and the upkeep on the house. Oh, I need a new water heater. No, I didn't want to. But back to the Delphi. What are your theories? Is it Richard Allen? Is it is he involved? Is he the only guy involved? Is there other creepers? Is he being dangled? Is he set up? Or was he involved and they're letting him be the fall guy for the crime? That's a thing. Um, the mob used to do that. They would have a hit, guys with high-powered rifles, these they were professionals with sighters and this and that and the other and spotters and all that other stuff. And they'd have multiple teams, and knowing that they had scopes out of line, so people were like, and then so if something did happen, they could dangle another hit squad out. Shit, that's what you do. What's your theories? We even say it? Are could people even? Because I think that Richard Allen is involved, but I think there's honestly, 4 to 7, meaning not people that were there at the murder, but like guys waiting in cars or on the phone or. And why do I think that? It's because that's what you do when you're doing stupid shit. I mean, do you really think Richard Allen was out there that day and it just happened to be he was in a mood? I'm going to kill a couple, huh? Perhaps he was. I mean, I don't know. Was he going through something in his life? Like, yeah. I mean, criminals don't think stuff through sometimes, or do they? I mean, because there's other bridges. There's another bridge. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but south of the bridge, there's a metal bridge, like a smaller metal bridge. Do you guys know about that? Tina says, I think it was planned. Tina, do you think it was just Richard Allen that planned it? But yeah, there's another bridge south. There's trails and there's another. I've never been there. Tina, you don't think that Richard Allen planned it? Do you think he was a fall guy? Do you think he was dangled? Because when if you want to get away with crime, you involve other people just so you can let them get set up. Pardon me. Based on digital says based on the PCA, could be a fall guy or setup, but depending on what else comes out and discovery how involved he was, in my opinion, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I think he was involved somehow. Not Freedom Bridge, but like South Wilson. There's a metal bridge. They've released pictures of this bridge, another bridge, and this kind of shack looking thing with like pallets. Remember they were saying he was mentioning the shack? Doug Carter. Man, I'd love to have a beer with Doug Carter after all that. Many tentacles to this case, and Tina says, Doug Carter, I'm getting hung up on Doug Carter saying many tentacles. Yeah. Seems like Doug Carter wants to say something. Because he's the head of the state. He has, again, so much on his plate. Can you imagine how many phone calls and emails and let's see, and why in that county within that small period of time? Because there's also the Flora fires. 4 girls, dear Lord, pray for them too. I don't know. What's up with that county? Isn't there only like 20,000 people in the county? There's only like 3,000 people in Delphi. Digital says Carter's Delphi's Yoda. Yeah. Yes. Perhaps he is. So he can't say anything. He can't come out and he probably wants to strangle people. But he can't. When Tobe's, I mean not Tobe, when Carter's around, look at Tobe's face. It's all red. I don't know. They just seem the body language is kind of strange too with the cops. You would think somebody could swoop in and solve it. I don't know. It's tricky. So nobody else is going to give a theory. Nobody else is going to speculate. I don't think that. I think there's a lot that they're. Again, I don't know. But from what I've, okay. When the murder was going on, weren't there other people on the bridge? And there's no leaves. You can see. Hannah said you could see where the crime scene was. You're telling me that nobody saw it, nobody heard anything? That night, there are all these people out, the flashlights and four-wheelers. Right there, they didn't come across the girl. Oh, how were they covered? Was it, I don't know, something strange. Tina says, I think it was supposed to be a kidnapping and it went horribly wrong. Well, that's one theory I have. Could be. I heard that like Libby was talking about she's about to go to the cops. Do you guys hear about that? She was gonna I don't know. I forgot when I heard that and what podcast because I heard it from a podcast. It ain't like I'm not a Hannah Shakespeare or anything. Could that be what it was? They stumbled upon I think that's a rumor. Heard it several times too. Could be. Perhaps it is. I don't know. A lot of strange stuff. Yeah, we all have mostly rumors. I mean, again, yeah. I'm just parroting, just repeating what I hear on other podcasts. And then my gut, I've never like investigated the case myself. I'm not a true crime podcaster. I'm not even a podcaster anymore. I come on lately, but I don't do it like every day like I used to. I don't want to do true crime either. I mean, I don't want to. The most views I've ever had was from true crime. Delphi, Zodiac Killer. I've talked about it. But Delphi, I mean, for one, it's a recent. Well, not recent. I mean, more recent than like say the Zodiac or the Black Dahlia or whatever I've talked about. But my podcast was all over the place. And to focus on some of this dark stuff. That's why I take my hat off to some of these true crime podcasters that can separate themselves because they have families and jobs. And it's just dark. I don't want to talk about all, digital. I think the shock and awe is about to start. No matter what Alan's role was, all the evidence for and against him are now going to be forced into the light. Will he make it to trial? And when does the trial start? This could take shit. And did you see him the last time? That last picture I saw, he's all skinny now, and he looked all. And they're saying he's speaking out of his head, like la 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 la, shit. I mean, I don't know. Kenny says, yeah, that's what I worry. Will he make it to trial? I speculated that a long time ago, over a year ago. I even predicted that they were going to pick someone up. He was either going to die in jail or something was going to go out, thrown out, and they could say, well, see, we know who it is, but then we can't say much, so we'll seal it all forever. Bye. I hope it is about to come to light. For the family's sake. Damn. Can you imagine what they're going through? See, they got up and they were like making pancakes and, and this happens. And the poor girls. Again, pray for Abby and Libby. Pray for law enforcement. Pray for the process. Oh, everybody involved. They're out there. It's a day off of school. You remember being that age? What is that? 8th grade, 7th grade? You're that age. And day off. You want to go? And then this happens. Fucking cowards, whoever did this. He goes to court soon, and the prosecutor has to present more discovery, I think. Yeah, you have to share all your evidence so the defense can start their defense. Build a case, Have they done that? What do they call that? Is that discovery? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but not even in this case. And I was watching a major news outlet, and they were saying it used to be really rare for people to seal stuff and this, that, and the other. Now it's all over. Not even in this case, all over the nation. For some reason, they're doing this where they just won't release police reports. And I think a lot of people in power are straw men or straw people, whatever, fake. They're a puppet. They will tell you what. I don't trust any of it. But yeah, my humble opinion is there's a minimum of 4, up to 7. I mean, could it be like somebody just like wanted a getaway driver, or people that weren't even like, man, why did you get me involved in that kind of thing? But since you're involved, I mean, you're still guilty. Kid, perhaps. I think so. I think that there's but it's not what they know; it's what they can prove. That's another thing. It sucks, but thank God that is our due process. You just want to round people up and hang on, shit. How you doing, kid? Kid, what is your theory, man? What do you think? How many people are involved? Is Richard Allen a dangler? Are they dangling him out? Is he set up? Is he? Kid says higher than 550s in a helicopter? Perhaps. I don't smoke herb anymore. I miss smoking herb. I just don't smoke. Kid says, I think it was RA alone with help to cancel the murder or conceal the murder. Is that what you mean? So you think Richard Allen did it alone, and then he had some poor bastard show up to I need a ride. Could be. I think there's more people involved. So you guys think that Richard Allen actually did the murder? You think there was a gun involved? Nobody heard any shots, but that doesn't mean, man, you can make a fucking silencer out of a plastic soda bottle, stuff it with steel wool, tape it up real good. You only got one shot though, because after you shoot it, you'll hear more anyway. You go to 7-Eleven and make a fucking silencer, okay? How do I know this? Because back in the day, I bought a book, How to Be a Hitman. Then I got put on some fucking list, and they banned that book. Turned out it was a woman who wrote the damn book, and she was a hit woman or hit whatever. Anyway, because they did some, and this sounds crazy, but it's true. They did a think tank with these government hitmen, like, hey, what is always there if we need something that are open to it was 7-Elevens. You can look this up. So then they're like the inventory of the 7-Eleven. So they figured out how they could make silencers and this and that and weapons out of a shit at the 7-Eleven. So you take like a 16-ounce Coke plastic bottle, pour it out, stuff it with those steel, what are those Brillo pads? Stuff it, tape that tight around your, it's got to be an automatic. 38, it'll be louder, but automatic. You got one shot. Once the hole's in it, it won't be as loud, but it won't be as slight. Anyway, it was in the book that I read, and then they banned the book, and they found out it was these things are, that's what they do. They have these weird military think tanks and stuff. I don't think Art was bold enough to pull this off alone, my friend. You're gonna get banned now by YouTube, Strux. I mean, perhaps they haven't banned me yet, but I might get a strike. Everything I'm saying is true. I'm not like, I used to write scripts, and that's why I bought that book. I wasn't the only one that bought, but I got put on a list. I can tell you that. It was like in the 90s, like the early mid 90s. So that's where my thinking comes from, because I've done a little more research and read more and had more life and known these motherfuckers and this, that, and that. So it's hard for me when people like, you need street motherfuckers to school you on. And I'm not even the most, again, I had to out of financial, I'm an artist. I'm a creative person. I didn't want to, never underestimate mental disease. Damn right, kid. Mental illness is a thing. Psychopaths, sociopaths, they're smart. They're driven. They won't stop. Unfortunately, there's people out there, Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, there's crazy shit. All these, shit. Mental illness. Unfortunately, man. People have illness in their mind. They're mentally ill. Do you think Richard Allen is mentally ill? Well, if he gets proven mentally ill, well, they'll throw. He's not fit to stand. Cuckoo. Yeah. Kid says off topic. If you go to chance to see a band called Bobby Lee's, go see them, bro. Yeah, I will. Was it rock and roll? What does he do? I don't go see bands. That used to be my life. I spent my 20s in clubs. I was in a band. I was go see bands where I was living at the time. I was on the guest list, a permanent guest. So I could just mosey in, and I was like friggin' Josie Wales. I could just walk in and get free drinks. Punk rock. Hey, cool. I miss those days. Dude, but I lost a lot of my youth. Like in the 90s when I was like in a van driving around doing gigs, my friends were watching like Seinfeld and Friends, and I wasn't doing that, going to movies. And I was, doing load in and load out and sound checks and gigs. And, girlfriends were breaking up with me because I was never around. And you smell like a smoke machine, a fog machine. We need more punk rock. We need more creative stuff. We need more bands. We need more painters. We need more thinkers. We need more dreamers. That's why I think this funk, like say in Delphi, is there any creative outlet? I guess it's a wash in meth. It's not just Delphi, man. It's everywhere. The small town I'm from, it's just the same fucking thing. Pardon me. I went to high school with this guy. Seemed like a good guy. I moved away to do my band stuff. And he wasn't even much of a partier, but I guess once I left, he got into meth. Well, he killed some dudes and threw them off Sligo Bridge, and they had to go down there and the Aquaman or whoever and find. He's in jail for the rest of his life. Now I guess he's like religious. I've changed. Yeah, well, you're in jail forever. I'd have never thought. Digital, how many? Kid says, Digital, how many do you think are involved directly? Kid, I said 4 to 7. How many do you think? Digital and Kid. I said it, so come on, don't be shy. Four to 7. A lot of kid says a lot of people find Jesus in prison and mental war. Yeah, well, yeah. After they've already done. Well, I need you. Thank you, Jesus. I love Jesus or Yeshua. To blow your mind, look up the letter J. If you guys want to go down a rabbit hole, the letter J, when they invented the letter J. See, everything used to be Y. Everything that was a J was a Y. I'm not gonna say what but you look at what they came up with a J. The name Jesus was translated was Yeshua. Joshua. Now we call it Yeshua. Yeshua was the name of Christ. Christ spoke Arabic and Hebrew. These are so I can't even say something. 4 to 7. That's what I think. I hope there's not that much evil cooking off in this one. I hope not, but that's what I think. How many do you think, kid? How many do you think, Digital? I mean, I'm that's my speculation, assumption, humble opinion. Kid think one person is involved. I'm talking about not just the murderer, but everybody else involved. That maybe was like lured to the, you know. You think Richard Allen is the sole dude? Digital says directly agree with Charlie. 4 to 7, indirectly a half the town. Otherwise, they would have voted out some of these criminal politicians years ago. Yeah. See, my mind just goes to that kind of criminal politician kind of thing. Meaning these politicians weren't involved, but they're told what to do, and they're in these secret groups, and they'll just 2 to 1. His wife and close family knew. Maybe. How would she not know? Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Kid says partners cheat all the time and never find out, but seeing the BG video and sketch makes me nervous. Yeah. Kid says, are the 4 to 7 in a group? How close are these people? I don't think they're in a group. I just think like there's activity that, I'm surprised people haven't been snitching. Tina says that the more involved, the more of a chance one of them is telling on the others. You would think that Digital says, I think when they released the press release saying they had identified the old sketch and talked to him, law enforcement referring to RA. Who's this younger sketch? Who's this mystery younger dude? And why did nobody? All the stuff I watched before Richard Allen came out of the fucking blue, when they already knew about what is that about? See, that's the thing. I don't know. Pardon me. There's something I can't put my finger on that's going on here. I just don't know. Again, it goes back to my mind, seeing what I've seen in bigger cities, and I never was involved in crime. The only crime that I ever did was, when some motherfucker come, you just knock him out. Yeah, I didn't stand around for the cops to come around. I left, or I wouldn't witness something and never. I'm going to snitch, that kind of stuff. Like I never. Stole a car, or dealt drugs, or anything like that. I was just like a wild man running the streets, like an artist, like a creative wild man. I have known people that were, I mean, I know it's weird. I known guys that like in LA, Hollywood, that did weird stuff. They also had drug operations. They also had a porn company. They also had, they're go-getters. Digital, like the weird ass Tom Cruise movie with all the masks. Yeah, well, shit. Yeah. That goes on. Kid, I would think that interview would have referenced in the PCA. Eyes wide shut is a thing. Yeah, shit, that's a thing. Yeah. Stanley Kubrick died. Like, as soon as the studio got that final edit, he was, well, fuck, he's gone. Eyes Wide Shut is a. I know something about Tom Cruise. I probably shouldn't say. I shouldn't say. Holman said on TV that Mike Patty was old guy sketch. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Wasn't Holman? That's that big girthy dude. Yeah, they saw him when he was looking for the girls. That was the old guy sketch. He had nothing to do with it. He just happened. Yeah, that's what I mean. People get confused and they. Digital says, kid, did you know that the RAPCA is pages longer? Just nobody has seen the rest. Yeah. Tina says, tell it, Charlie, I don't like Tom Cruise. You know what? Fuck it. I'll tell it. I don't know if this is true. Speculation, humble opinion, rumor, if you will. So being in LA, I heard this from a rock star, low level rock star, and from where he was from, which is a major city. I can't say on the East Coast. Tom Cruise has been in a long-term relationship with this ballerina guy. Like they're basically, And Tom Cruise is like on the down low. Who gives a fuck? I mean, again, I don't care. It's not like, but yeah. So he's in the ballerina guy is like famous too. That's all I can say about that. But that's what I've and so the guy that told me is grew up with the ballerina guy, and they know Tom Cruise. And how I even heard the story was there was a party going on or a dinner party, and the reason I couldn't go is because I wasn't known enough that they would trust me. Because Tom Cruise and this ballerina guy, the people I knew were going to this. They were all friends. They wouldn't let me go. Well, you better not bring Charlie. What the? He might. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. No, they wouldn't let me go. That happened a few times where I wasn't allowed because I wasn't one of these. Yeah, like rock star parties. I wouldn't have allowed it. My people I knew would go and they would tell me. They'd be like, dude, for one, you're not as famous because I knew people that are more famous than me. And they're like, we whatever club they were, that kind of thing. I was like, man, are you kidding me? Yeah, no, we're not. You can't, I was like, dang, I want to go. You might make fun of said, well, I'm not gonna. Because see, back when I was younger, I would fucking, I would be quiet. Matter of fact, I wouldn't sing. But if you came at me, some kind of angles, you're fucking with me. You know what I mean? You get the mirror effect. Like, don't come at me, And I was kind of scary back then, as far as like, again, I wasn't like a murderer or something, but I would not take any shit. Like, go fuck yourself, kind of thing. A lot of stuff on Tom Cruise, but Scientology holds it. Same could be in the case of a fellowship. Could be. Fellowship of Delphi, kid says. I don't know. Is that a thing? Liggett or Boss Hog? Who do you want as your sheriff? Aren't they? Isn't that the same fucking thing? Did you see those debates? I watched those back in whenever it was. And can he pass a physical? Can Tobe Leslie do one fucking pull up? Don't they have? They're law enforcement. You have to have. Have they lowered the standards so fucking much that you can't? I'm a 52-year-old man. I'm still in shape. I'm svelte. I wore the same pants as I did when I was in fucking my 20s. Liggett looks like Boss Hog. Yeah. Liggett, how he talks, his cadence tells me a lot. Tobe, too. A lot of those dudes. I'm not going to say. Watch my old Delphi. If you go back, I did a bunch of Delphi. I said certain things. I'm going to repeat them. More to being, they shave off. Lately, when I've been doing lives this past week or two, they've been shaving off my likes. Unless people go back and unlike, is there something I say and they go, I don't like you anymore? I don't know. I'm living in a major city right now. I moved from that small fucking hick, Illinois fucking backwoods motherfucking place I was living. And I'm in a major city now. And I was coming home from work the other day because I have a real job now, like a good job. And I was coming home and there's construction on the highway. So it's 2 lanes and it's fucking bumper to bumper. Every day, like this morning, it took me an hour and a half to get to work in traffic. So it's bumper to bumper. That day, it was like about a week or two ago. 2 lanes. There was a car wreck, so they pulled over, and there was one cop car, 2 of them, and this car had come around the side trying to cut in. I let him in. Like, damn, They fucking threw a Jack Daniels bottle at the fucking 2 cops. They ducked the cops, and then we're bumper to bumper. Where are you gonna go? You just threw a fucking cop. The cops looked scared. They didn't even try to. And then the car that threw the Jack Daniels bottle, and there was still whiskey in the bottle. They wasted their whiskey, threw it at the head. They pulled right up to him, wham, and threw it. I could hear them laughing and cackling. And they went to the next exit and got off. And the cops were like, they looked scared. I was like, shit. Happened right in front of me. And then maybe the same week, I was coming home, fucking bumper to bumper. Took me an hour to get home. There's a car wreck. A car's on fire. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then I could smell like, oh, there's a wreck on fire. So I had to get on the median to go around. And as I'm going around, my windows were down like maybe that much on each because I'm smoking. I'm in a Mercedes. And man, as I went around the median, but I was like fucking 15 feet from this car. One of the tires explodes because it's on fire, this car, and all the shredding shit like hit my window and came in to my car. Like, what the fuck? Sucks. Yeah, I don't know about this, shit. That's what I mean. You can't get away. Fuck. I'm just trying to live my life. Happened is, again, shit. Dude says the school mascot in Delphi is Oracle. Digital. Go through my podcast. You go to my channel. I did Oracle of Delphi. Watch that podcast. I did it maybe 6 months ago, a year ago. All through history, there's been the Oracle of Delphi, a prepubescent girl floating in hallucinogenic liquid. The swim team is called the Oracle. Come on, man. The Delphi Oracle. Watch that. Go back, all y'all. Go back through my channel. Scroll through. There's over 300. You'll find it. Oracle of Delphi. That's some shit. I don't want to say it again now. I mean, something is going on. It's not just, it's, they use these, it's been going on since, that's another thing, people. There are secret societies, even in small towns. Why would they name the fucking town Delphi? Look at what Delphi was. Delphi was the, again, go through my YouTube, find the Oracle Delphi video I did and watch it. Kid said, so the school mascot is involved now? No, not involved. There's this running theme that's been going on before even the fucking Egyptians, the Babylonians. It's just haven't you watched 300? That movie 300? The Spartans? They have to go fucking question, get approval from these diseased old fuckers. And there's this pubescent girl laying in a pool of liquid LSD or whatever the fuck it was. And they need, they go through these oracles like you would not believe. They used to, I should say. Or do they still? Yeah. And why would what is it with these pubescent girls that have involved with water? You got to do your own research, man. I already know this. So that's another thing I have to live once you've, then you have to fucking deal with normies. You can't try to explain. You look crazy. Again, watch my video, Oracle of Delphi. Matter of fact, I've had people contact me. That was my best video. I had people reach out to me and say they're involved with I had a psychic email me. I used to have people like, again, I don't know who these people, sometimes they wouldn't leave name. They're like, you're right on the money about what you're saying, It's hard for me that people don't know about the Oracle of Delphi. The remnants are to this day are there. The original, mountain where they had it. Kid says they don't teach that in schools anymore. They don't teach it they've never. We think our society is smarter. No, man, we're one of the dumbest. We have been sheep dipped, spoon fed, just this la la la, sports and, you know, the scary part, nothing has changed. Certain things that they do, it goes back a long time. Long time. See, I'm just more schooled in this. You can read my book, Charlie Greer, Rant of the Madman. That came out 20 years ago. I've been talking about this shit. Yeah, we've all been shellacked. Yeah. People thought I was crazy. My friends, I lost friend when my book came out, Rant of the Madman, which I've never been paid for. And the first editions are going for like $800 to $1,000 fucking dollars. I don't even own one of them. I had a guy in Australia email me and wants me to help him find the first edition. I was like, well, shit. I don't know if I can help you. I wish I'd have held on to mine. I didn't think it would be. It's not that long of a book. It's more like a pamphlet of like a warning. But and old fucking dudes like me are disappearing. You know, they're gone. I mean, all my people. Fuck, I'm lucky to be alive. Yeah, it sucks. Because how would you know? Because quite honestly, I'm not trying to point the finger at people, but you're living your life. You've got a family. You got kids. You got soccer games and softball games to go to, and you've got jobs and barbecues, and you just want to relax when you're not. Pardon me, like living your life. You want to fucking like you need a little leave alone, relaxation. Last thing you want to do is like go down that rabbit hole of conspiracy and shit. Makes your stomach ache and upset you. Well, I never got married. You know, there used to be artists. There used to be like people that like Hollywood was full of these people. It has changed. It's now this little secret thing, and it used to be like 10% that, 90%. Now it's 90%, 10, not even 10. I don't even know. It sucks. It's lonely being me. Let me tell you, I can't talk to people. I wish I could, because if you had me in front of you, I could just, well, you'd probably get, that old saying, like everybody wants to be like William Burroughs or Johnny Thunders, but then you hang out with them, you're like, oh shit, like really? No, you just. But I'm about to get off of here. But I recommend everybody. I don't know how many people. 5 people are watching? Go through my videos and find my Delphi murders, Oracle Delphi, I think it's called, and watch that. If it's even still up, I don't even look through it. Maybe they deleted it. Who knows? Doodle says it's about tradition and culture. That town is full of generations who think they should be able to do whatever they want. Yeah, that's every town. It's not even that town. Thank you, Tina. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's not just Delphi. It just happens to have, that, the world attention because of this murder. Every little town, city, we live in this. What you don't think look around. There's no arts. There's no record labels. There's no forward momentum. Property taxes are out the yin yang. You have to do this certain thing. The only people that succeed are these said, brutal. Sucks. But you got to do. See, I think that's what I mean about that's why I'm fascinated about this Delphi case, because I think something else. I think that there's a bigger sting going on that maybe we won't even know about. I know that's why that they started Space Force. You know, they have another branch of the military. You have to. Fuck. And that's probably all ate up and not even. It's probably shit. Nothing new is under the sun, man. Read any ancient book. Fuck. I hate to sound like that because it seems like I'm trying to talk down. I'm not. I feel for people, man. I have empathy and sympathy for people. Yeah, digital small town, Arkansas, boys on the tracks end up in the White House steps, weird things happening. Well, that Delphi area, our old vice president, that was his region. You know, what's his name? I'm not going to say it. I know it, but I'm not going to say it. Look, I love y'all. I'm out of here. Thank you, everybody. Be blessed. Cheers.